Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tim Vixay with my crippled friend. This is episode number 22. I'm still here in Boise, Idaho, just hitting the road on my way to Denver, but decided to stop into Boise for the night and see some old buddies. And currently sitting in the kitchen of one Mr. Spencer Larimore. He is a wheelchair rugby player from Boise. How's it going, dude?
It's going great, man. Glad to stop by.
Yeah, no, I'm just on my way to Denver, and I don't really know anyone in St. Louis, so I was like, or not St. Louis, Salt Lake. So I was just like, crap, like I'll just hit up Spencer and see if he'll let me crash, and the couch is good enough for me. So
Yeah, I'm always impressed that the 0.5 can spend the night on the couch. First time you came over here and did that, I was very impressed. I've never been much of a couch surfer.
the key to it is just being stubborn as hell and refusing to pay for a hotel.
Right. You're always welcome to stop by here.
Let's get that mic just a little bit
a little closer. Yeah, sure.
That should be good.
All right.
Yeah, man. Likewise, if you're ever in the Portland area, let me know. Dude, I wanted to. We've talked about like your injury, and actually, no, we didn't. How did you get injured?
I was mountain biking back in 2000. Went off a jump and went over the handlebars and landed on my head.
Yeah.
C6.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That was here in Idaho?
Yep. Yeah, in Boise, right behind Camel's Back Park.
Yeah, that's actually how I broke my one and only bone besides the three I decided in my neck. But
right.
I dislocated my left wrist doing a stupid thing off a ramp on a bike and went over the handlebars, caught myself.
Yep, that was the first bone I ever broke.
Oh, yeah.
Do it good, right? I've broken my foot since on the handcycle.
Well, what happened next? Like, were you with buddies and they?
Oh yeah,
called?
yeah. I was with three of my good friends I ride with, and they were right behind me because we were all gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4 off the same jump.
Yeah.
And, so the next guy showed up and was like, "Are you all right?" I was like, "No, I knew right away. I was still conscious. I just felt like I was floating in like a pool of water, felt weightless, just laying there, and I felt like I was curled up in a ball, yet I was laid flat out. I kept telling him, "Hey, will you pull my legs out now? Like you're laying flat on your back." So it was weird not being able to feel or see down, because I was looking up and I didn't want to move. I was adamant about not moving a muscle. As soon as I knew that tingling sensation, I knew that, any more movement before surgery was a possible worse damage.
Yeah.
So I froze. Pretty much froze for the next 3 hours.
That was pretty much my situation when I snapped my neck and I was floating face down in the ocean.
Yeah, what do you do there?
Yeah, I was just holding my breath and I was like, oh boy.
Hoping someone comes, huh?
Yeah, hoping someone comes, or like I can get knocked by a wave and kind of get the corner of my mouth and get some air or something. Because and unfortunately I was able to hold my breath for about 4 minutes. But I was getting pretty close to the end of my rope and was like, well, you know what? Like, called my mom this morning and told her I loved her, and if this is my time, then I guess I'm gonna drown.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's like, I don't really like have a fear of drowning, but I would say the worst way to die would be drowning.
Yeah, and it'd be scary. That or burning. Those are
burning.
Pretty
I
big
hear
fears.
is not that bad because you get knocked out from the carbon monoxide.
Yeah. Well, it depends on how you're burnt.
True. Yeah, like if you get thrown on like some coals, that would kind of suck.
Right.
Was mountain biking like a pretty big part of your life?
Yeah, I think I got my first mountain bike when I was like 13. I had a Panasonic. I had been riding BMX bikes before that, and then in high school I got a little bit better bike.
Yeah.
And I had been riding motorcycles since I was like 8 as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a CR 250 in high school, and I got to be doing some pretty stupid stuff on that, jumping big dumb jumps, and I thought, you know, I'm gonna probably break my neck or kill myself on this thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sell this and go to something a little tamer like a mountain bike.
Yeah.
And that's when I invested in a little more top line mountain bikes. And you know,
dude, what is it about like boys and riding on things with 2 wheels?
Right.
Yeah, it's like as soon as you take the training wheels off, like something switches in your brain, and you're just like,
yeah. Well,
all you're gonna do is ride bikes, and then you graduate to a dirt bike, and then, you know, eventually graduate to a street bike, and
yeah. And that's, you know, even after my accident, that was one of the first things I got into was a handcycle.
yeah,
A street bike. I got on that right away, and I think I had one within a couple months.
yeah.
And
so did you find hand cycling before rugby?
way before rugby.
Yeah. Did you know about rugby or no?
No, I didn't know about rugby. I was injured in 2000. I didn't know about rugby until after Murderball was.
I was gonna say, yeah.
I'm sure that's how most people found out about it in some way or the other. And it wasn't even when it came out. It was like a year later. Like it came out and I never even heard about it.
Dude, I remember seeing trailers for it.
I wasn't in the disability community very much. I was into a ski program.
Yeah.
A local ski program, but I didn't really have. There weren't that many cripples in Boise. And,
Yeah, dude, I didn't know any cripples, but really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't until when I moved to Texas and I found a rugby team in 2008, and that's when I actually started hanging out with people in wheelchairs.
Yeah.
And I learned so much about everyday life, about how to deal with the everyday transitions better. You know, after finally hanging out with the actual quads.
Oh,
you know?
for sure.
That was the biggest eye opener in the world. I was like, oh my gosh, I've been missing this for 8 years.
Oh, yeah. It took you 8 years to find it. Yeah. Fortunately, man, I, had Portland.
Right. Yeah, you're in a big city.
Yeah. And even then, it took me 6 months before I got with the team, I think. And I was about 4. Always got invited to go to the practice, and I was like, nah. I just stayed at home and played online poker, watched Netflix. Yeah. Netflix just launched their little streaming service, and I used to get the mail disc.
Right.
I'd get 3 at a time and then watch whatever was on streaming. Yeah. The first movie I ever watched on Netflix streaming was Boondock Saints.
Nice.
Yeah, it was like 2008. But yeah, I know, like finding rugby has shown me that like independence was capable.
Right.
Because like if I had never found rugby, I would have never ever tried a trip like this. Because I was like in a power chair and couldn't do my own bowel, couldn't do my own bladder, and it was just like transfers. Everything was Hoyer transfer.
Right.
And it was like just getting with the guys who have done it and lived it and just can teach you a thing or two.
Right.
Right. And like it's crazy is like, dude, I'm at the phase in my evolution where I'm like becoming the mentor, and I'm like coaching kids on how to become independent and how to travel independently, and guiding dudes through like their first international trips. And yeah, it's crazy. I feel fucking old. I'm not even old.
No,
not compared to you.
Right, but how crippled old are you?
Crippled old?
Like how many years?
11.
11. Okay, I'm in 19.
Yeah.
And
but
those years are adding up. Yeah, it's crazy.
What did you do for the first 8 years besides handcycle?
I worked.
What did you do?
I worked in television.
Yeah, still.
I started out as a cameraman after college, and I was a videographer. Chased ambulances and did some outdoor
Nightcrawler
stuff.
You seen the movie Nightcrawler?
Nightcrawler? I don't think so.
With Jake Gyllenhaal?
I haven't seen it.
It's off topic, but it's about a stinger dude from LA, and he just goes around trying to find, like the latest crash, and
right.
gets deep. He starts like manipulating the crime scenes and shit to fit a narrative. And
yeah, so I did the camera stuff until I was paralyzed, and then after I was paralyzed, the big push after the hospital rehab was to get back to work. And my employer they worked with me very well to get me back into a graphics job in editing for news, and so I kind of got into that, and I went back to work within 6 months after my injury, and then I was full time within 6 months after I started back. And
wow!
I just worked, and that was pretty much all I did. Worked, came home, played poker. I played a lot of online poker and played a lot of poker at the house.
Back in the heyday when you could actually use real money.
My outlet was my handcycle, and I did skiing and raced RC cars.
You went skiing?
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah, I
cool.
skied. I got into skiing the first ski season after my injury. It wasn't even a year after my
Is that
injury,
something that you can do independently?
I probably couldn't just go independently. I got to the point where I was off tether and solo, but situational things happen skiing up there and the elements and stuff, man. I'd really have to have someone. I mean,
dude,
I wouldn't be comfortable. It took a lot of effort to go. And it wasn't really that enjoyable to me because it was cold and I didn't deal well in the cold. It seemed like as soon as I got all my gear on, I'd always go to the bathroom before, get all my gear on, get out there, get in the chair and go. And like after the first run, you just feel like you had to pee like right away.
Yeah.
And to go and get out of all that stuff and go cath yourself and to go put it all back on and go back out, I was just like, no. I was just like, I'd go until I was like back teeth are floating. I'd be like, all right, I'm done.
That's like pretty much my experience with my one-time sit skiing.
Yeah. I did it for 5 seasons, and I got to where I was scaring myself, and then I was like, I after I started playing rugby, I came back to Boise for a Christmas vacation, and we all went skiing, and I was like, this is, I think, the last time I'm going to do this. I don't want to damage anything that's going to...
close this door.
That's going to, affect...
Is the dog inside?
That's going to affect... He's got a dog door. That's going to affect my rugby. Like, rugby became that important to me.
Yeah. I know a guy that wiped out pretty bad on a sit ski and totally jacked up his shoulder. And he was already a C4 to begin with, and now his arms are like almost worthless. Oh, yeah, watching him eat is just like fuck.
Yeah, I'd hate to go higher. That'd be.
I have like the bare minimum function / skills to travel independently.
Right.
It's like a big struggle, and some help sometimes would be nice, but I am so fucking stubborn.
Yeah, you're the man. You're impressive for how independent you are. It's like that's a lot of balls, man.
Well, it's a lot of it's just a culmination of hanging around the USQRA for 11 years.
Look, cat.
And
we kind of set up in a gnarly spot. This is my kitchen table, and the house is clean, but not my kitchen table. And that's where I feed my cat, which is probably not the healthiest thing in the world. He's bumping in on the conversation here.
But yeah, it's like just picking up tips and tricks around the league, watching people going to like rugby tournaments and watching like Kip handle the fork, or like Ed handle a pencil, and it's like, all right, okay, I can do this. And
you pick little things up everywhere.
Yeah, you slowly start filling a shoebox up of like the old adaptive Velcro shit that you used to use to hold the foam that holds the fork and all that shit. It starts just piling up, and you're just like, all right, I got this.
Yep.
Yeah, and it was also just seeing other quads like Max living independently. I'm like, all right, him and I, we have similar function. I got to figure this out. Like, how are we going to start traveling independently? Because before I got injured, I loved to travel, and I loved like my independence and freedom, and just to be able to, hit the road like I am this week, just take a week off and just hit the road and, see friends and just have an adventure.
Right.
No, man, I have to remind myself every day that like I did nothing to deserve this kind of lifestyle, but it was granted to me, and I'm just going to make the most of it.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. I mean, you always get that I could never do what you're doing. You hear that from people, and it's like, yeah, you will. If it happens to you and you're not immune to it, if it does happen to you, you will do it.
Right.
You'll make something of it.
Yeah. But yeah, no, let's get back to hand cycles.
Sure.
How did you ever compete, like racing or anything?
No.
You have an interest in that, or
No?
not even after rugby?
No.
Yeah.
No, my first bike was a Freedom Rider. It was like a lean steer, so you're not laying down like the racers.
Yeah.
And I rode that recreationally, just on the Greenbelt here in Boise a lot.
Yeah, which is dope, by the way.
Yeah, and then gosh, I'm spacing our name here on the last name. We might have to edit here.
No, man, it's too much work for me.
Hold on. Let me pull the name real quick. Local biker.
How often would you go out?
I'd go out quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's as much as I could.
Yeah.
And Jesus, now I'm having a big brain fart, dude.
How many months out of the year?
Well, you can't really ride here in the winter. I mean,
yeah.
For one, I don't.
So it's pretty much like December or November starts getting.
November to
March.
You'll get some good days in between somewhere.
Like some good sunny days.
Yeah. Get some, but in between there, I'm riding. I don't know. I used to ride a lot more on, when I was first starting rugby and really training hard.
Mm-hmm.
Ride, I mean, now that I'm on the mountain bike, I ride as much as I can, as long as it's working.
Yeah.
But I'm off track here, man.
What kind of bike do you have now?
It's a Nuke.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to go back to where I was. So Craig Cornwall, he gave me a race bike.
Craig Cornwall.
Yeah. So I went.
Was he like an Olympian?
Yeah. He raced U.S. Paralympics.
Yeah.
And he had several bikes, so he ended up just giving me one. Was a Force.
Yeah.
Force R, whatever. Can't remember.
Dude.
And so I got into the lay down bikes, and he tried to get me into racing. So I'm kind of trying to go back to the racing part. And I just didn't have any interest. I didn't like the
I wonder if that's why Will
Grew
Greer wants to move out here for mountain training.
Maybe.
High elevation.
Those guys train a lot together.
Yeah. That guy's just an animal. I'm going to get him on the show soon.
Yeah.
But,
oh, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I've taken a recent interest in hand cycling just because, my rugby career is kind of on the end of the spec. Well, just with like international. I mean, I gave myself 2020, tried to, get on Team US and made it 1 year and got classed up, and it's like screwed me ever since. So trying to figure out what
there's more than the US team for rugby though.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I know. I'm always going to be
on
involved with the militia and Oscar Mike. So yeah, I'm not going anywhere as far as that. Like, you'll still see me at tournaments and shit. But like, as far as like athletic pursuits and shit, and like now I'm looking at hand cycling, but I want to get into like gravel riding.
Okay.
Yeah, just riding on trails and gravel forest roads.
Right.
Just one, you don't have to deal with the traffic
Right.
and getting your ass ran over, because I know too many people that have gotten smoked by cars.
Right.
And then two, just, again, being out in nature and just
Right.
enjoying the scenery.
Right.
Yeah.
That was my big transition from the road bike, from the Freedom Rider, and then the race bike that was the lay down style.
Yeah.
And when I went to the new CanCycle, the Reactive Adaptations new handcycle, the transfers were easy. The independence of it just was totally different.
That's what you were saying. How high is the seat off the ground?
So it's the same height as my wheelchair.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's a straight transfer right over into it. It's super easy, in and out. No problems. No problems getting like your legs up into the straps. And then once you're in it, you can go anywhere on that thing. I mean, you can climb anything. You can go. You throw some lights on it. You can go down the street. You can go 20 miles an hour down the street and go to the park.
Yeah.
Go watch the fireworks.
Yeah.
Back,
it definitely opens up like
it
the
opened
train.
up all kinds of avenues for me for independence. Like the first time I went out on a 4th of July, I went up and rode like an 8-mile loop in the foothills. I came down, rode the green belt into Ann Morrison Park, met up with my sister and her family, and they had like a Kentucky Fried bucket of chicken, and I had chicken and a beer or whatever, and we watched the fireworks. And after it was all over, I just turned on my lights and rode home with a whole crowd, like thousands of people from all over were all riding their bikes back into the North End.
That's cool.
To go home. And it was just like I got home and I went out there by myself and did all this, and I had never done something like that, like leaving the house without a vehicle.
You should come do
like a car, and it really opened my mind to what I could do.
You should come do the Seattle to Portland bike ride with me.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever done that, or do you know anything about it? Mm-hmm. It's a annual 2-day bike ride from Seattle to Portland.
How many miles?
202.
202.
Yeah, you do something like 110 the first day, and then 90. You could pretty much stop anywhere you want. But here's my idea: is hopefully I can get it in time and put in the training, because I'm definitely gonna have to commit to it. But like my idea would be to get a Lasher all-terrain handcycle, and then just get road tires for the bike ride, and we'll drive up to Seattle with like my mom or an AB, and we'll pack our shit. Like we'll have tents, sleeping bags, sleeping pads, and like toiletries and
right.
medical supplies, and then just pretty much just pack cycle. And at the end of the first day, find a campground that we can just wheel up to and just roll out. I mean, we'll leave our everydays in Seattle in a truck, and then we'll have like my mom drive it down, or she can drive it down and meet us at the halfway point. But I think it would be cool if you did it completely independent from your everyday chair.
And just have someone packing that for you, travel it.
Yeah, like just once we set off, just throw it back in the trucks, and then just
right.
meet us in Portland at the finish line.
Yeah, it would tack too much on to try to tow it or something. Do that.
Yeah, and that's what I think. That's what Seth did when he went to his crazy ass trip down to Patagonia.
Yeah, that's nuts. That's cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna get him on the show too eventually, and we're gonna talk a little bit about that, because talking about like epic hand cycling trips, I can't name one that tops it. And I know guys that have ridden a couple times across country. It blows my mind that trip. Like, what an adventure. It really should be a movie. But
right.
Yeah, no, I think Seattle to Portland, because I'm always looking for like new challenges. And after rugby, it's like, what's my next challenge? Like challenge myself to make Team US. Okay, mission accomplished. But like what's the next challenge? And I'm thinking, all right, let's start with like Seattle to Portland, and then maybe let's look at going cross country, because it seems like a pilgrimage that like a lot of quads are drawn to, or even just people like in wheelchairs. Dude, the gym owner of the gym I used to work out at down in LA, Next Step Fitness, which is like a special rehab, kind of like a Project Walk type place. He rode a electric chair across the country.
Oh wow!
From like Redondo to like Virginia or some shit. I forget where he landed, but yeah.
Dang.
Like
how many days did it take him?
Couple months.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it was kind of like a summer, maybe like 8 weeks or something like that. Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, he actually ended up raising a lot of money for the gym. But yeah, like, have you ever like thought about doing something like that, like an endurance race?
I haven't like
ride.
Planned one out or anything like that.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty fun. Something like that.
It'd be a gnarly ride from Boise to Portland, though.
Oh, that'd be nasty. That's a lot of elevation,
dude. Yeah, you're going through 2 mountain ranges.
Yeah, that'd be rough. Plus, I don't like being on the road. The one thing that drives me nuts about being on the road is the crown. So you're right-handing it all the time.
Oh yeah.
The road riding just drives me nuts.
I see what you mean.
It's like if you've done you just did a marathon in your rugby chair, right?
Yeah.
So if you're doing marathons, and like the ones I've done here in Boise are on the Greenbelt, which there's really not much crown on the Greenbelt.
Yeah, because it's built for bikes.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean it does have watershed to it, but it's not as noticeable.
Mm-hmm.
You get on the road and you're like, my mountain bike my right tire is super worn out on my front versus my left, because I ride 4 miles every time I go to the trail and back home on the road, and it just wears on that. There's all that
one
weight.
side.
Yeah, it's crowned over so much. But yeah, when you ride on the road, it just you have to right hand power it. It sucks. That's one thing I don't like about road riding.
Yeah. There's trails, like gravel trails that go from like Bandon, Oregon out to like North Carolina. It's all gravel. It's usually like
I think there's a gravel 100-mile race. There's a lady at the gym
there's a famous one in Kansas.
There's one in Idaho too.
Yeah, they're actually it's starting to become like its own sub sport.
Okay.
Yeah, of like cycling. It's just people that want to ride on gravel, and they got like gravel specific bikes. It's kind of a little bit interesting. You can get lost in a YouTube wormhole all about it.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. But there's what's it called? The Transamerica Trail. And it's a series of gravel trails that you can go across the country. A lot of guys like to do it on like would that be motocross bikes? Adventure bikes?
Right. Yeah, I'm sure there's cross-country versions.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah, there's guys that do it. You can find videos on YouTube, just guys that, hey, we're going to go across the Transamerica. I don't know, you ever think about that?
I'd do it.
Yeah.
It's not something I've been planning, but
well,
if someone sparks an interest for something like that, I'm on.
I'll go
along.
Let's look into the Seattle to Portland. Let me know what you think.
Yeah.
The registration opens up like January 7th.
And when is it? Like what time of year?
July.
That's hot.
Late July. It shouldn't be that bad unless we have like some weird heat wave. And It'll probably be like 80s ish.
90s would be rough.
Yeah.
That'd be tough being out on the black.
You'd have to
blacktop
you'd have to
man,
find a way to hook up a mister.
Oh yeah.
That's just constantly. Every time you hit a certain spot in the crank, like 12 o'clock,
it just pops. Right? I've got a pretty cool system that my friend Craig Cornwall gave me the idea for. It's I've got air tubing for fish tanks. I've split it so it has a hose that goes to my mouth, hooks into the back of my helmet, and then splits into two sections and have holes drilled into it.
Yeah.
So I drink out of my Camelback and take a big spit full of ice water and
it
shoots into my head. That's good for the helmet. It's nice.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You ever try like a cooling vest?
I had a vest that we had all these frozen gel packs in.
Yeah.
And it's too bulky. And it just, I don't know. I didn't.
I wonder, like, I'm talking about the ones that like people use for like when they go riding like side by sides.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like
it's like water cooled.
With the firefighters and stuff, or firefighters using stuff like that too.
Maybe.
Cool.
Yeah, it's like you have to mount like a little. You'd have to mount like a little reservoir with cold water, and then it has like a small motor, and it just circulates cold water through channels on your shirt.
Oh,
yeah. I don't know how bulky it is though, but like a lot of guys that go riding out in like Moab and shit where it's like 110.
Right.
They use that to stay cool.
Or go to Moab and like the cooler.
Right. Yeah. The rocks aren't going to change.
Yeah. I was supposed to go to Moab this spring for a trip on my handcycle, but I had.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah. My dad and I were going to go down there with the group, and my power assist rear hub on the bike failed.
Yeah.
It started to fail just right about the time that we were going to go, and we canceled it just because we weren't going to have enough time to convert it over, and the company went out of business, so you couldn't replace it. So that was kind of a bummer deal, but it started the evolution of the bike. We went from a rear hub drive system to a mid drive system, and it changed a lot of the dynamics of the bike, which is kind of fun. It's been what we've been doing this summer. It's been a lot of work
because you pretty much need electronic assist.
Yeah. The weight of that thing is with quad grips and stuff. I mean, I could ride it down the street, but off road without power assist, I wouldn't be going up hills. Yeah. But with the power assist, I can climb these.
You would go up the hill eventually, but you're gonna freaking hate life. That's my only gripe with hand cycling is the uphills.
Right.
Yeah, and the only bike I have is a top end XLT, so it's like a upright.
Oh, okay.
And I look like a total dork when I'm riding it, especially if I have a helmet on. I've clocked maybe a total of no more than 10 miles on the thing, and I've had it for like 8 years.
Right.
Longer than that. I've had it for like 10 years. Just wasn't. I mean, I got it because the transfer was easy.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can do this, independently, and just never enjoyed it.
Right.
Yeah. I wish I would have gotten a recumbent.
Right.
Yeah. Because there's some good spots to ride in Portland.
Yeah, it's interesting, at the injury onset and your first like recovery stuff like that. Like you didn't know any better. You thought this is great.
Yeah.
And it's nice to have some programs like we have. Boise Parks has a pretty good program where you can test out different kind of bikes and stuff like that. If people get into those programs and find out what they can use first before they go and invest money.
Because this shit's not cheap.
Oh no, not at all. Yeah, especially when you get into these mountain bikes, you really need to go somewhere and test them out on the train you're going to be on. And know what you're getting into, because they're a lot of money and they're a lot of maintenance. It's like it's a maintenance nightmare.
Really?
Oh God. My dad's.
That makes sense why they sell a stand, right? Like, doesn't Nuke, you can buy a workbench.
We just use a bucket.
Yeah.
Put it up on. I mean, it's there's a lot to it. I mean, it's heavy, so you don't know.
Right.
I guess you could put it on a stand. I don't know.
No, I'm pretty. Don't quote me because I'm tired, but I'm pretty sure they have a thing where it's like almost like an engine stand for it.
Oh, okay.
That they sell.
Yeah.
Don't quote me, but if they don't,
sure
they should.
I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's all you really got to do is get that back wheel up off the ground. We just use a bucket, stick it under there, and
right.
you can spin it and tune it.
The Lasher is actually doing like kind of a demo days thing.
Okay.
I think it's in October in Las Vegas. You'll have to go to like their Facebook or Instagram to learn more, but yeah, unfortunately, I think I'm going to be out of the country.
Oh, okay.
But that would be cool to try.
Yeah, I know at the it's called Idaho. It's at the Grand Teton Resort, Targhee. They do it was just last weekend on the Labor Day weekend. They do a 3-day demo and all the handcycle. All the mountain bike manufacturers there and all the handcycle manufacturers there. You can test them all out.
I think I saw some pictures of that.
They have some pretty good stuff. And I know one of the guys there has a Lasher. He rides up there on the Lasher and just kicks ass. He's like a C7 quad.
Okay, I've been talking with like Craig Blanchett a little bit about
Joe Stone. Do you know who he is?
Yeah,
the paraglider guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he rides a Lasher.
I need to get him on the show too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that guy's he's interesting.
When I started the list of people I wanted to interview, he was like in the top 10. I was like, the guy like paraglides, rides mountain bikes, and then
he'd probably be a hell of a rugby player if
lived in a teardrop trailer.
He lives in Montana though.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I was talking with one of your teammates earlier today, Josiah, about how there's no rugby like in North Dakota or Montana. Just, what kind of quad really wants to live there?
Right. Well, the populations just are small too. It's like Boise. I mean, this is a great place for a quad to live, but it's a small. I mean, quads aren't going to move here to play rugby. But if you're born here, you lived here, and you had an accident, at least we have rugby now.
I've thought about buying property here for hunting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's expensive now.
You could still find some property like in the Panhandle.
Oh, sure.
That's like reasonable for like
North Idaho's.
I guess my price range.
North Idaho's. I mean, that's like Washington.
Yeah, 200,000 for like 300 acres is not bad. I don't care how shitty the house is. Tear it down, put a manufactured home on it or something. But no, I've thought about it. Just like a hunting property would be cool.
Yeah.
So, do you do much hunting?
I did when I was a kid.
Yeah. Not anymore?
No. I don't have any interest in sitting out in a blind for
no, man. The only time I've ever done it was from a track chair.
Oh, okay.
And that was badass. Yeah. Especially because
you'd feel like you're in a...
Well, the only rifle
armored battle tank going out after...
let me get to that. The only rifle I really had that I trusted that was going to work well enough to shoot a deer was my AR-15. So I bought some like 5-cap mags for it, and I just took it out, and it has little red dot sight and a little ACOG on it, and got my first deer with it.
Right on.
It's kind of cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you actually you sort of snuck up on this thing with in the track?
I got it from like 200.
Oh, okay.
200 out.
Sure.
Yeah. It was just
but I mean, you had to drive around in the thing and then pull up.
And so the whole time I'm driving around, I was just like, damn, I feel like a Terminator or something right now.
That's what they look like.
I'm holding a fucking assault rifle. Like,
yeah.
I was just like, just mount a couple like mortar tubes to the side, and you got the tilt, and I was just like, wow, this is this could be a potential, Mad Max,
Right.
The Purge, zombie apocalypse situation here.
Right. Did you have your gun mounted onto so it was like hooked up like on a turret?
I had it slung for most of the time, but yeah, I had I had a post. Yeah, I did have a post that I would rest the fore end on when I was taking a shot. So
that's cool.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, the best part about the whole trip was just being out there on the track chair,
right,
and just going to places that
I bet
you're not going to go anywhere, unless you have something like that. So.
Right. Could you legally hunt for one of those razors?
Yeah,
same thing. That
yeah,
you go cruise around on one of those things.
That's gonna be like my next big toy. I feel like,
right,
is a side by side.
And the animals aren't quite as they haven't figured out yet to be afraid of wheels.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're afraid of bipeds because they've been evolving, and the wheels have only been around for so long, so they haven't quite figured it out. It's like you can drive up to animals, so it's a little unfair, but I don't know. I don't know if we want to get into that.
I mean, hunting's hunting. Like, if you're gonna consume the animal.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, isn't there some states where you can still spotlight?
I don't know. Not sure.
Yeah. There might be. I wish I could look that up, but I'm not going to.
So I know on my bike I've been right up next to a coyote like it was nothing.
Yeah.
I rode up to him I was from here, my cat away from my coyote. Kind of freaked me out. I was like, is that someone's dog? And I was like, that ain't someone's dog.
Dude, that was pretty much what was going through my mind when I was doing my marathon, because it was on a trail. So it was through the Coast Range Mountains, and it was some pretty good old growth forest, I was just like, this is gorgeous out here. That's kind of what inspired me to get into gravel riding too, was just the scenery, just being under the tree canopy, and then just thinking to myself, at any moment, man, if a mountain lion jumps out and just wants to jack me up, I'll never see him coming.
Right.
Yeah, all I'm gonna feel is just claws and a bite on my neck and bleed out in seconds. And
I was pushing on the Boise Greenbelt in my rugby chair a couple years ago, and came around a corner and there's a police car on the Greenbelt. I rolled up to him and he said there was a mountain lion spotted in the area, and he told me I needed to turn around and go back. And there was a lady that was jogging that came up, and she heard the same story, and I was just like, I need to get a little head start here.
Wow. Yeah.
I don't want to be the super slow guy. I mean, yeah, it was interesting.
Good news is I guess if you were to get attacked by one, you are mounted to a bunch of metal,
right?
So maybe,
yeah, you don't know if it would, know what to attack.
Mm-hmm.
If it would it attack the flesh? Would it hit the wheel?
Yeah.
Who knows?
A pick bar to the dome. I just killed my first cougar.
Right, there was that guy in Colorado that
Tag
killed
it.
him.
Oh yeah,
that'd be a hell of a news story. Rugby player kills cougar.
Will Grew hit a squirrel once.
No way.
And flipped out of his chair.
Oh shit.
In a rugby chair. Yeah, we were at Adapt, and we were pushing down the road it's about a mile, and he was just hauling ass, and a squirrel ran out in front of him, and it was coming out from behind some cars, and he had no time to maneuver, and kind of just turned real quick and still smoked the squirrel, but flipped himself out. And I was a couple seconds behind him, caught up. I was like, you all right, dude? Yeah. And he helped him upright himself, and
dang.
I was just like, I can't believe that just fucking happened.
I ran over snakes all the time out on the trails and the foothills.
Yeah, I saw some snake out there.
He's got these bull snakes that are like 6-7 feet long out there. They're
Are those poisonous?
No, they look just like the rattlesnakes, but they just don't have that.
Do you guys have rattlers out here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never seen one though. I've never seen one.
I don't even know if Oregon has them. I don't know if we have really many poisonous snakes, to be honest.
Huh. Yeah, they're out there, but I've never come across them. They've all been bull snakes.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily.
Yeah.
They're like road bumps.
Yeah. I think I smoked one once.
By the time I see them, it's like, oh, you really can't stop.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what else. I saw some dead shit out there. I'm trying to think what else I saw. Maybe like a rabbit. I've seen like a dead rabbit, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, man, I was just like, dude, if a mountain lion wanted to just jack me up, I was like, wouldn't even know.
Right.
But no regrets. I will admit that like doing the marathon in a rugby chair was an accomplishment, but I feel like I cheated because there was one section that was like sheer uphill. It was about a mile, and it was one of the hardest hills. It's just impossible. So I had a little rig system, and I had my buddy help tow me up it. He was also doing the marathon with me as well.
Right.
But immediately following getting on top of that hill was 7 miles of where I didn't even have to push my wheels.
Right. So the payoff.
Literally did not have to push my wheels.
Yeah.
I mean, I went for like an hour and 15 minutes of just brake steering.
Yeah, that can wear you out too, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Especially if you get it to high speed and you're in all that traffic with all those runners.
Different muscles.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is 13 miles. This is, pretty much halfway. So half marathon into it. And then you're squeezing your wheels the entire time. And then, it was a nice, easy 5 miler. No, surprisingly, I got all my blisters during training. And I finally figured out how to wrap my knuckles.
Right.
Yeah, because I was going to use red rubber. I still don't know why I don't use any sort of rubber. I just had Atlas gloves, the gardening gloves, 305s with the rubber on the back because I backhand push.
Right.
And just taped the shit out of my hands with hockey tape.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then on race day I double wrapped them. Didn't have any issues.
Right. Yeah, I ended up with some weird blisters from where the red rubber rubbed. Like I put a pad on my palm, and it gave me a blister here because of where it was pinching.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I ended up with this funny. It didn't bother me at all till the next day, and then I had this big.
Yeah, but I'm always like setting my hand on shit. It's like I accidentally set it, and it's like I don't know. That's crazy. Do you I guess we can transition. That's a good transition into rugby.
Sure.
The season's looking good for you guys.
Yeah, this season looks like it's gonna be pretty fun.
Right. Yeah, I bet you're excited to have Corey back.
Yep. Yeah, we got Corey back, and we've got Nick Pierce from Denver. Got to transfer over to our team. So we've got we actually have high pointers for once.
Dude, would you be interested in an import? No. Yeah, we thought about getting an import and going for like D1, but Corey wants to just keep it homegrown.
Kind of keep it homegrown and kind of low profile. He wants to work on his new career and do some rugby, but not go full bore.
Yeah, it gets it's a commitment, and imports get expensive.
Yeah,
especially if they want to go home.
Right.
And if they're not from Canada.
Right.
Yeah.
We thought about it, but I think it's gonna be fun what we end up doing. It's gonna be interesting. I think we need to look at a couple different tournaments because we're gonna start off with pretty much the regular tournaments that we've done, other than our home tournament. We're
kind of
back.
the tour day Cascadia.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's it'll be interesting.
Do you guys go to BC?
No, we haven't.
That could be a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'd like to see some.
If you have it in the budget,
Right.
I don't know. That's quite the drive from here.
Right.
Because how far is Seattle?
Well, we're flying to Seattle. Like,
Yeah.
I'm tired of driving longer than Portland. Portland, Reno, I think is about all I want to drive anymore.
How far is Seattle from here? About, 8 hours?
It's like 9.
9?
It's
yeah.
kind of brutal. I don't like that drive.
I'm not looking
I
forward.
usually would stay in Pendleton.
Mm-hmm.
We drive Pendleton, play the Thursday night poker game.
I was gonna say
it's
like
a $65 tournament. It's pretty fun. I've cashed in it.
Yeah.
Like 3 times.
Nice.
And probably haven't played in it 5. So it's decent.
Yeah.
But yeah, the drive I don't like going that full long drive.
Mm-hmm. Damn.
So we're flying.
I don't know why this light bulb just came on in my head, but I was like, I haven't played poker in a long time, and that Pendleton drive is only like 3 hours.
I think we should set up a tournament in Pendleton.
Yeah.
And do a get Seattle, Portland, us. Everybody can drive.
Big fundraiser.
And do a rugby tournament there and have stay in the hotel there.
Oh, I got you.
You ever stayed in the Wild Horse?
I've never stayed there. No, I've only
dope.
ever stopped there and gotten McDonald's.
Probably the best wheelchair accessible room I've ever stayed in.
Oh yeah.
Like, I was like, everything was awesome. Like the bathroom was the coolest bathroom setup.
Yeah. Did they have automatic curtains?
I don't know. They might have.
Yeah.
I didn't. I wasn't there that long.
I'm just complimenting your
my
blinds
curtains.
here, man.
Right.
I don't know. Oh, actually, yeah, you might be able to see it on the video.
Yeah, I think I got it.
But
I got a little.
no, he was Spencer was showing me this little gadget he's got that his mom discovered on Amazon.
Yeah. See.
And like, how would you describe this thing?
Is it in frame?
Yeah, yeah.
With all my junk on my kitchen table.
So you
Yeah,
like,
so this
if you're
thing
just
hooks into the
listening, you
wand.
can't see this, but
Batteries are kind of dead on this one.
he's
but
got this motor that hooks up to his blinds, and it does the twisty thing to open and close them for you.
Yeah, it just velcros onto the magic wand.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
And you just got one remote for all of them, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got them all hooked up around the house. I was trying to figure out what it was. I thought it was like an alarm system or something. I was like, okay, what kind of neighborhood
just a
is
little
this?
motor that hooks onto the magic wand.
Yeah. And, what's this thing called? Do you know?
They quit making them?
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, so they were discontinued.
Dang. I'll try not to give...
You could buy them at like Home Depot, and I can't.
I'll try not to give out your address, because I could see some quads coming over here and jacking you.
I have 2 extras in case if any of them fail.
We need to find a reverse engineer.
Right.
And just figure that shit out. And then
pretty simple.
Get the word out on it. I wonder if they just didn't market it right. They need to put that shit in like
in like a disability catalog.
Yeah, the OT catalog of magical goods that, know. Like, you ever just sit down and flip through one of those books?
They say most of those things that are in the like the home shopping network that as seen on TVs, almost all of those products are products originally made for people with disabilities.
Really?
Yeah, and then they have to market them because they couldn't sell them.
Like what?
To the disability community, because it's hard to market it.
Dude,
so you have to market to everybody.
Dude, I didn't even realize those things are still on TV because I don't watch TV anymore. Right. So I haven't seen like an infomercial.
Well, there's an aisle in like your Walmart that says like the as seen on TV aisle.
Right. Yeah.
All the shit.
Yeah, they have those stores in the malls. Just what's like the hot thing right now?
Yeah.
Because like the last thing I remember was like maybe the ShamWow. You remember that thing? Yeah. No, let's get back into rugby.
ShamWow, isn't that a nickname for the there was a player
Rugby player?
Yeah, they called him
ShamWow?
Yeah.
Because he, what, like...
Trying to remember.
He always had to, like, soak up his sweat or something.
His name was Shambro or something.
Oh, are you talking about Shammy from St. Louis?
Yeah, I think so.
Bald dude?
Yeah.
Low pointer? Yeah, Shammy.
Yeah, they're calling... They're...
Schomburg.
ShamWow or something like that when I was at a Texas tournament.
Yeah, okay.
Funny.
I've always just called him Shammy.
Yeah, someone else. ShamWow came out somewhere in there.
nicknames are a thing, man.
It stuck out.
Yeah,
it's kind of funny.
Do you have a rugby nickname?
No,
not yet.
No. Yeah, we've got this game coming up. It's a roller derby tournament that they lost one of the teams, so they asked us if we could bring in a team.
Mm-hmm.
Portland's coming, and we're gonna it's one game at this roller derby tournament.
Yeah,
and that was one thing I was thinking would be kind of fun was to do like jerseys.
Yeah,
and get our own little like roller derby names.
That'd be cool.
They have some
Everybody on the militia gets assigned a nickname.
Yeah, you got Wacky Chan.
Yeah. I forget how I got that one.
I wanted you guys to come. I invited you. Your team.
Yeah, I think that was a bad.
And it was for that reason too.
I think it was a bad week. This is in October, right?
Yeah, I think it's September 21st. You have like a training camp or something.
Yeah, we're doing. We got a training camp with Dave Wilsey, and then the Libertyville tournament right after. So I unfortunately will not be there because I'll be in Bonaire scuba diving.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah, twice this summer. Like, who the fuck does that? I seriously have to wake up every morning and just, like, thank my lucky stars. Like, yeah, I get to go to Bonaire twice this year. I don't know what I ever did to, like, deserve this life. But,
hey,
it's,
take it and ride with it.
Yeah, that's why it's, like, for me, it's, like, important that, like, I give back. And that's why I've always, enjoyed what I do with like Oscar Mike, and hoping this podcast can kind of take off. And if I start getting like some sponsorship money, I think I'm gonna start a like a foundation myself that will benefit not just veterans but anyone in the cripple community.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because like, I'll be the first to tell you, man, like veterans have it. Nobody's got it better than us as far as getting shit taken care of, getting track chairs and sports equipment and shit. Like, I mean, fucking struggle that you guys have to go through is insane. So
there's lots of grants out there, but yeah, when you have a military player on your rugby team, you really see the gap.
Mm-hmm.
The gap there from the benefits.
Yeah.
But I mean,
yeah, that's why I think it's important to like, if I ever, because I mean I'm set for my life, like I don't ever have to work again, but like if this podcast, if I end up trying to, if I end up making money off of it, then yeah, for sure, like I think I'm gonna start that foundation and just figure out how I'm gonna distribute it, but like maybe do it like a calf thing, and
right.
Might only be able to, someone wants like a action track chair, it's gonna be like 12 G's, so it might have to be like a yearly thing where it's like, all right, throughout the year we got $1,000 a month in sponsorship, then I'm gonna buy a little Jimmy in North Carolina, action track chair.
Well, and we need those things.
Start small and
to get people out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what it means to be able to have the toys to be able to go do what you want to do, and how much it changes your life. So if you can give that back, all the power to it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try to get another track chair through like the Independence Fund, because sometimes you can apply for multiple after like a certain times like has elapsed. I think it's like every 3 years you can like submit, and they have extras. They'll be like, hey, here you go. And so definitely would be interested in like donating, or maybe like creating a contest where the winner gets, my used track chair.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. I don't know. It has to be something creative.
Right.
Like a video entry. Like your craziest wheelchair stunt. Curb drops
You
and
have your own jackass show
stairs,
going on.
stairs, hitting rails.
That might not be a good idea. You probably end up getting sued.
Off the dock into the lake or something.
Right.
Some of the things I've seen people do in wheelchairs, man.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just like, what are you doing? Yeah. This thing's a freaking death trap.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can be.
Oh yeah, your first whip over backwards.
Dude,
You don't want to do that again.
there was a player
That's
down in
nasty.
California that died from that.
Yeah, just fell over in his kitchen.
Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy.
Just, all it takes is
I
a hit-
don't know how many
hit your
times
head.
I've fallen over backwards and hit my head.
Yeah.
Just got a freaking thick skull, but you can only take so many of those blows.
Right.
I'm just like, yeah, when's the next one? So that's I guess part of the reason why I really don't drink that much anymore. I'd say 98% of the time
Yep.
I tipped over backwards. There was
Yeah. Last time I flipped
There was
over on my head,
there was beverages involved.
there was lots of alcohol involved. Unfortunately, when I went over, it wasn't totally my fault. It was we were backing out, like coming downstairs, and I got dropped and smacked my head.
Dude,
That sucks.
I've hit my head way more times in an everyday chair than I have in a rugby chair. I've never
I've
well
never
the
hit
only
the back of my head in rugby, only the front, like the.
yeah the only time I've
Something.
ever hit my head in rugby was just training, and I was doing like up and back sprints, and I went up and I went back too fast, and I think my weight shifted and just my back tipped.
Wow, you tipped over backwards.
Yeah, I tipped myself
Good.
over.
Up and backs.
I was just doing
Wow.
up and back sprints, and
Wow.
I just
That's impressive.
totally whacked my head, saw stars. I probably got a minor concussion. That was it was on a like a soft mat. It was at Adapt, so it was like on
okay.
the little puzzle pieces you put together.
Yep.
It was on that, so
Okay.
kind of sunk in a little bit too.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know anyone that could do that,
No.
unless they had full trunk and just tipped
Right.
over backwards.
Right. I mean, I try to tip myself over in my stretches at the beginning of rugby practice. You
Yeah.
lean back and pull back. You can go back as far as you can. You can't flip those things over.
Do you ever take a dive?
Dive.
Like if you're like scoring a goal and someone hits you, or if you're going for the ball and someone hits you, like do you accentuate a spin?
Oh God, no.
No, you never
No,
throw.
no.
You never throw your hands up and
No way.
try to take a
No way,
flop?
man. I'm not gonna try to go down on purpose, man. I don't want to hit my head.
Oh man,
I'm too old.
I do it when the opportunity arises, and if I can draw a foul.
You know,
Yeah.
maybe if you're in like the championship game. of
I
P1,
also am way slower than you.
maybe if you're in a Paralympic game, something that really mattered. I mean, the sport's fun, but I mean, I'm not going to risk some serious injury, especially head injury for for
You're also
getting a point.
you and I play different roles, and I don't go
Yeah.
nearly as fast as you do.
Well, luckily this year I don't have to play much of that role anymore.
Yeah, for
Be able to
sure.
just chill. It's gonna be a
Dude,
nice one.
Corey's mom's gonna have to just make him wear that helmet again.
I don't think so. He doesn't go down anymore.
He goes down more. I mean, not like as much as like Wheeler, but
Yeah.
he goes over.
Yeah, he'll still go
He's
over.
he's good for like 1 or 2 a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not like before. Not like 5.
Before it was like 5 a quarter.
He was Superman out of that thing back in the day.
Yeah.
Couldn't keep him in there. Couldn't find a chair that like really worked for him for a long time.
Yeah,
Really.
it's interesting,
Yeah.
especially
I think that goes pretty
Yeah.
much for everybody.
because I guess I'm gonna brag about you a little bit, but you pretty much started the team here in Boise.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, total ground up operation. What were some of the big challenges in doing that?
It came pretty easy, to be honest.
Because a little background, and correct me if I'm wrong, this was after you'd moved back from Dallas.
Right.
And you had just missed rugby.
Yep.
Right.
Well, actually, I had planned it before I even left. The last tournament that I played in there was like the last week that I was there, and I had talked to the Utah team about coming down and bringing equipment and helping us do like a demo once we got things in set up. Talk to Josh Wheeler,
because that was pretty much your nearest option.
Yep.
If you wanted to play rugby, and that's about a 5-hour drive.
The Utah team was there, so I talked to those guys, and they said they had all the gear, and they bring all the guys up, drive up, and stay with and I said, all right, I'll set it up. So that was my intention when I came back. I hit up they had a basketball program here, like a once a week kind of a Saturday thing.
Yeah.
The chairs from the 90s. You're playing your everyday chair was a better option, and I saw their program and went to it to keep in shape, played with them for a year, and talked to the lady that ran the program, found a good handful of quads here, and I moved back here in January. And May we had the demo. Utah came up and we had a demo, and the Boise Parks put together a grant and got us like a $27,000 grant to buy
How were you able to recruit for the demo? Like just for spectators and potential athletes.
So I had a couple of friends that I had already known, like Willie. I knew as a quad, and
he was living here at the time.
Yep. Yeah, and then Tracy Lewis, I'd known him, and someone had gotten a hold of Steve Baxter and George, and who else do we have? It started at the very beginning.
Yeah, because I've known Baxter.
It all kind of like George and Baxter were both on the USQRA site looking. They posted some stuff 2 years before.
Because I've known him since 2009. Yeah, and he was asking me about a Boise team, and I was like, dude.
So we'd seen those numbers and called everybody up, got everybody up. We had a meeting and met up for pizza, and
that's cool.
We had like 7 players, and then got the grant together and got chairs, and so we were on our way. Like within less than a year after I came back, we had 8 chairs to play in. So it was pretty
That's
cool.
awesome.
And then we started up in the 2012 season.
Yeah, and that was your official launch.
We started the 501c3, got funding, and got 3 good sponsors, and we were on our way. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, man. No, it's incredible, like, especially seeing it grow from the ground up, because we came out, I forget what summer that was, that when, like me, Kip.
2012.
Was that 12?
Yeah, it was right before our first season. You guys came out and brought a crew up.
Did we do it again? Demo. Did we do it twice? And the second time Corey was there?
No.
Or did we only do it once?
You guys did it once. We had a.
Was that when Bridget flew out of the gym? You remember that?
I can't remember.
They had the gym we were at, like at the end of the goal line, there was double doors and a ramp that went down, and Bridget scored a goal and didn't stop and went out the doors and down the ramp and into the bushes. Good stuff for herself.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, that was before we had Corey. We had a double amputee that practiced with us quite a bit. That was
Travis.
Travis Green. He was doing the basketball program, and then he moved to San Diego. And then,
I think he plays for the Wolf Pack,
cool.
Kind of the all military basketball team.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like, I don't know, the militia
right,
but instead of basketball. I've been trying to get the Oscar Mike to sponsor a all veteran sled hockey team.
Oh wow!
Because I don't know if you follow that sport at all, like in the Paralympics, but
that's a cool sport.
Oh, dude, it's so fun to watch. It's my favorite. Dude, I might enjoy it
as a spectator sport.
Oh, for sure. I might enjoy it. I might enjoy it. Hell no. I might enjoy it more than watching rugby.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
The only thing that I would say, like with rugby, is like I personally know players, and like I personally have played against international players, so that's kind of cool. But man, if I had to pick a sport, like if I could redo my disability and just play any sport I wanted,
it would be sledge hockey.
I don't know, man. Being a double amp in sled hockey would be pretty fucking fun.
Yeah, they brought a bunch of gear. They had a demo last winter here, and since the Bombers were pretty big, we were pretty big showing in Boise for a wheelchair sports program. They asked us to come out, and they wanted, it's like that sport's not very many quads could play that sport. Like, it would be difficult, really difficult.
Right. And I'm thinking super incomplete.
Yeah.
It feel like you gotta have trunk.
Yeah, you'd have to have a trunk to be able
definitely
to sit up
triceps. That's like it's all the muscles we don't have.
Yeah, it's interesting when the everyday person sees that and they're like, "Oh, you're gonna do that?" Because I think since you're doing rugby, why don't you do this too?
Oh, it's also
no one really knows the intricate differences.
I love Aaron Fotheringham. But every time he does something fucking cool on a wheelchair, I get tagged in it, and people are like, "Why aren't you doing this shit? Let's go, bro. You down?" And it's like, you motherfucker, that guy's barely disabled. Not taking anything away.
How's that guy not a quad now?
Yeah, dude, right? All the stupid shit that we've done, and like the stories that we've heard of guys getting paralyzed. This guy's doing motherfucking double backflips and shit. Like,
and I've seen some of his wrecks. And you're just
for sure. Yeah, I wonder if it I don't know. He doesn't.
And in spina bifida, he's had some serious surgery done. I mean, that back isn't bulletproof, is it?
I don't know, man.
But I mean, as long as he doesn't hurt his neck.
That's.
I think he's wearing that
like a Hans kind of thing.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he's wearing that thing. So.
Yeah. I also think most people with like spinal biff, like they don't really have like much of a neck, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Kind of got.
They made Hot Wheels out of that guy.
Yeah, you know what? And everybody's all hyped up on that, and I think it's cool that they're recognizing it. But dude, what the fuck is up with the wheelchair? Have you seen it?
Isn't it looks like one of those box chairs?
No, it doesn't. No? You should look it up. It looks ridiculous.
Oh, is it?
Well, yeah,
it looks. You see how much air he's
getting? It looks like it almost looks like those those little Segway chairs that are out. It looks almost like that. Excuse my language. It looks retarded.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've never looked at it that close. I thought I guess I'm looking at it too close. I'm looking at his park when he's been in the park chairs, like on the little skate parks. That's when I've really paid attention.
Yeah, no.
When he's doing the big jumps, I haven't really paid attention to the chair. I'm
talking about I'm just talking about the Hot Wheel.
Oh, the Hot Wheel. Oh yeah, those are.
Yeah, no, his chair is badass.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying his chair was funky.
No. He uses the.
Yeah, they're pretty dumb. But it's still cool that they're putting out a product.
It is, but like, I'm gonna have to splice this into our video. But like, what the fuck is that?
It almost looks like a toilet.
Yeah, right. Like a toilet on Dubs.
I think they even actually had a Hot Wheels that was a toilet one time.
Sure. Yeah, I don't get it, man. And then I don't know how they did that graphic with him sitting on the fucking piece of shit.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I would love to get him on the podcast and hear his opinion on that. I mean,
it would be cool if they had like a bigger version that was like almost like a scale model of it. That was like, have you seen the little
scale model of his wheelchair?
His chair, yeah.
What would be cool is if it was a build your own model, like a model kit.
Yeah,
because I don't think kids are doing that anymore.
There's BMX bike things like
do they?
Like the fingerboards and then they have.
Oh yeah, I remember. I know what you're talking about.
Make one like that actually has
like a tech deck,
pneumatic tires.
Talking about tech deck.
Yeah, something like that.
That'd be cool.
Now, if someone made one of those and made it actually like
that,
And then make rugby chairs.
Oh, dude, yeah. Oh, rugby chairs would be dope. Especially if you had like finger function, you could like work 4 of those things.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, no, dude. They don't I don't know how we got on the topic of disabilities, like varying degrees of disabilities, but yeah, people don't really realize. Oh, we were talking about sled hockey.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just one of those sports. You're just it wasn't in the deck.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even a para might have it. I mean, they're not going to be. I mean, unless if they're chest down, they're screwed.
From what I've seen, the people that are dominating the sport is like the amps. Yeah.
Well, the U.S. team had almost all amps, didn't they?
Yeah, a lot of them were veterans.
Yeah.
I think they had like 4 veterans. 3 of them
and they
were
were
like
all
starters.
young too, and they just crushed it. That was exciting to watch.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites. Paralympics. I don't really watch. Actually, you know what? I do like watching the downhill race on the skis.
Oh, the skis.
Because like I'd say 1 in 4 wipe out,
right? Yeah.
And it's gnarly.
That's a yard sale.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
One of those
they
things.
had a life flight. Someone I think maybe the last go around, maybe Vancouver. I can't remember. But yeah, they've had to like life flight people because it's you got freaking. What do you call those? Outriggers? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got those things flying everywhere. And
once you're going backwards on one of those things sliding backwards, oh, God, that's scary.
I've never had, I never really wiped out that bad.
Yeah,
but
I've had a couple good ones.
I can't imagine, like, especially being so top heavy. Because you're like, I mean... How much does that thing weigh?
They're not that heavy.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's probably adding another 30, 40 pounds, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. And you're sitting
on
you're sitting on the top of everything, like.
Yeah, the one I used a bi-ski, so it's called a bi-unique.
Mm-hmm.
So you sat low. So it was like half the height of my wheelchair.
Right.
So it was down there. Like you see the guys on the mono skis. They have the big shock. They're sitting almost the same height as a regular wheelchair.
That shit's so insane to look at, like in slow-mo.
Quads that are,
yeah.
Those aren't for quads.
In slow-mo, when that thing is just bouncing, it's fucking insane.
Yeah, some guy dropped the Corbett's Cougar at Jackson Hole, which is this cliff drop, double black diamond drop that's nasty, huge. Guy did it on a sit ski last year. There's a video of it on YouTube, and it's the most insane thing I could imagine someone.
Dude, you'll have to send me the link to that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, when I have pictures when I was a junior in high school. We went to Jackson Hole, and we're on skis with our ski tips hanging over the edge, looking over the edge, and there's a picture of us from the side, and it's scary. We were like, we didn't go off it. There's no way. I mean. And then knowing that a guy on a sit ski launched himself off that thing, I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that. I mean, I am mountain biking again, but I'm not.
I don't know.
I'm not taking jumps.
I don't know if I would do that on a bike either.
I wouldn't take a drop. I wouldn't take like a big jump. I'm not. I'm trying to keep the wheels down.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what's insane about like, Aaron. Like when he's dropping into those things.
He was born like that. He didn't go from being able-bodied, have an accident, like doing something like that, and then go back to it.
Yeah.
He's going from the birth being.
Yeah. I just can't believe like the ramps he goes down to catch all that big air.
Yeah.
Because like for me, that would be a fucking adventure.
That'd be an adventure even if you weren't crippled. Like just. The guys that are doing that on BMX and skateboards and stuff like that. I mean, that's...
I don't know how I went down this YouTube wormhole and there was a video of... Must have been from like the 90s. But it's this guy in like a hospital chair. And he's going down this steep ass ramp somewhere in like... I don't know. It looks like San Francisco. I mean, just, those hills just sheer down. he fucking just burns through it. I was just like, damn, like, all that's chair, but it doesn't death wobble.
Right.
Yeah. My other tie light, or I'm in the box chair right now, but the tie light I have, death wobble.
You get the wheel wobble on it. That's scary. I think I've only had that happen once in a wheelchair. I was like,
I don't even have to be going downhill. If like it's flat, like if I'm pushing through an airport and I can get enough speed, like not even a full on sprint, but
start getting that shimmy.
Yeah, it's weird. I think it's the frog legs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think the bushing on the frog legs is just worn and it's jacking everything up.
You get that on Rugby Chair every once in a while if your casters bearings are bad and you start getting that bad wobble.
Yeah, people always neglect that bearing for the stem. Yeah, that one's important.
You start getting that shimmy, and then that's annoying. I like my chair to be quiet.
Yeah, you gotta just lube it up every now and then.
On people.
You gotta be able to sneak up on people. You're gonna be, you're gonna be playing more of like your role this year. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I really didn't get to play much last year. I think we did 3 tournaments, and then I was sick at 2 of them. So it was last year.
Yeah, I've been out of the Pacific, so I haven't really seen you around at many tournaments.
Nope.
And
low point tournaments, I've seen you there.
Yeah,
Except for you didn't make the.
I didn't go to Reno. No. Yeah, I thought about it, but I needed a weekend off.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has been like the most I've been home in a summer in like, I don't know, the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
So it was kind of nice just to catch up with, the family back home and kind of just slow down.
We did a fun tournament this year in Reno. Josiah contacted me when the low point tournament came up, and we had just come back from playing in Phoenix.
Dude, it booked out fast.
Yeah.
I was really surprised.
He was asking me, he's like, hey, do we want to do the low point tournament? Who do we want to try to bring in or whatever? And I told him, I was like, hey, let's just do us. Let's format it. So I had one player that hadn't played in almost a year, and he lost a bunch of weight.
We were talking about him.
Yeah, Nick Miller.
Yeah, 100 pounds. That's amazing. That's amazing.
He looks great now, and he's pushing great. And he's really a smart player. He learned a lot. And when we decided
it's rugby, man.
It was the beginning of June. We decided that we were just going to try to Ironman it. And then, like, Tracy had only probably played maybe 2 full games ever. Nick had never played a full game in his life. Joe and I have Ironman quite a few games.
You know what's the first time I Ironman was in Reno as well during a regular tournament.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that's interesting. Like,
yeah, so our goal was
Ironman, man. I love it.
Let's get in shape to see if we can, four-man this and build our team and see what we can do. We did all right.
You kind of earn like a badge for competing in an Ironman situation. Like, even if you don't win a game, like you get a certain level of respect that most veteran players will notice for sure. I would say, like, oh damn, like these guys are just out here gutting it out. And I mean,
the tough thing is there was 2 other Ironman teams there, but they were fully stacked.
Yeah,
I mean, ridiculous stacked. Like, 3 former USA players on one team.
Right, not just, like high pointers.
With three of them having age deduction.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, geez.
That one's tough.
Yeah, that's tough.
I was talking with Joe about that, and it's like, if we ever decide to start our own league, we're going to have to sit down and have...
do it.
Oh, yeah, for sure we could do it. But we're going to have to sit down and talk about some bylaws, and I think one of the things that would be up for discussion would be, do we allow... 45 and older 2.0s to play.
Well, you know what I think? I think we need to bring the point value up to 4.
Okay. Yeah, because, okay, like for those that don't know.
Bring the point value, yeah.
Yeah, for those that don't know, right now, low point tournaments, you are only allowed 1.5 or lower classification, and 4-man on the court can only equal 3.5.
Yep.
Yeah. So that real slow because I didn't want to fuck it up.
Right.
So yeah, you're saying bring it up to 4.
Yep.
Okay.
I'd even allow 1 deuce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if it is.
You can have a deuce on the floor.
I don't know, man.
Maybe no age deduction deuces.
I would have to try that. Yeah. Because then that would mean Wheeler in 5 years.
Right.
Nobody wants that. Yeah. Nobody wants it. And then that would also include, Alex Pabon. Like, no, nobody wants that.
In the, to be honest, all these stacked teams, all these Olympic players coming in and making a stacked team go to low point tournament to just sweep it. I mean, how much fun can you have when you're beating teams by 40 points?
It's horrible.
It's awful.
Yeah.
There's nothing fun for either team in that.
I agree.
Really learns, and no one learns anything.
Yeah.
So.
I was there during the early days of low point tournaments, and I remember them being fairly competitive.
Right.
I don't think there was a back-to-back champ until my team did it, and we are by all means considered a super team.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of age deduction, which is a big deal.
Right.
Which, I'm totally fine with. I don't know if I'm sold on letting the deuces come in, because just because they're 1.5s now doesn't mean they're low pointers.
Well, the one thing that would help with it though would help. So if you brought it up to 4 and you let 2s in, then you'd get more teams instead of collaborations.
True.
So if you can get more teams and you can just get your lower end,
mm-hmm.
you have your regular team and you have your low point team.
I would adopt a 0 class.
Yeah,
outright.
Outright 0 class should come into play anyways.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've been saying that for years.
The 0.5 class is so the range is so huge, and then you go to a low point tournament and you got the 0s, and that allows the other team to play 3 players that couldn't be on the court.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and my argument for a 0 class has always been, if Christopher Reeves was alive and he went through the classification panel,
it'd be 0.5.
It would be a 0.5. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and they'd still try to make him do all the shit too. They could visually see.
Yeah, like move, flex. Yeah. Don't let me pull your hand back. Don't let me pull your hand back. Like,
yeah.
Check his tricep and shit. Like, just throwing his arm up. He's like, "What the fuck are we doing?"
Yeah. I think a 0 class would help.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and that would also, great for low pointer. But if we can get it done in the USQRA, I feel like that would open up more people willing to play, especially the 0.5s that are on the low end of the spectrum. They're never going to make Team US. They're not.
Right.
But if you could put them on and have them as a 0, and, if they can get 1 pick on someone, holy shit, like, get that guy the MVP.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's also getting them out there too,
That's what I mean. Yeah.
There's guys that have come out and then they realize that they're up against so much just in their own team to get playtime, because there's 2 other 0.5s on the team that are basically a whole class above them,
Yeah.
And there's just no chance for them to get any playtime unless if you're blowing out or getting blown out, and then when you're out on the court, then it kind of sucks, you're not really, you're not in the.
Yeah. The biggest difference, I would say, is the wrist, because I have good tenodesis, so I got strong wrists, and that connects everything so much more. Where I've been around enough, C5 quads that don't have any wrists, so no tenodesis. Just watching them, do shit like, try to pick up a phone or shoot a text message out or open a water bottle. It's like, holy shit, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see the struggle.
Yeah. And it's like, wait, we're in the same class? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's incredible.
And if you see it, they see it.
Oh yeah.
Because when you're at that disadvantage, you really, you know.
Dude,
It's like I was in the 2 class for a while when I was first classified.
Yeah.
And there was other 2s that I was friends with and, you know, played against and stuff. And the one thing that I noticed, the biggest thing was the hand rim. When I saw other deuces using uncoated hand rims.
Mm-hmm.
I've tried uncoated hand rims. I flew out of my van and I thought I was going to die. I didn't test them out first, you know. I just like, they weren't even like the non-coated. They were those, oh God, what was the kind of rim? It has like
it's got the
like
kind of that foam or whatever.
It's got that little dish right here. And then the hand rims are a little bit more vertical.
Oh, yeah.
Called. But your finger couldn't go in between the rim.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked that. And I tried them out, and man, I went flying out of the van. I thought I was going to die. I was like, I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop. So when I saw other deuces not using coated rims, I was just like, wow. Like, then looking at how much hand function they have, I was kind of shocked at how much difference there was in my class.
I still use like traditional push rims mounted in, but I've seen guys mounted all the way out, and then you can just watch how a guy tapes and then how he pushes. You know, if he doesn't have a backhand stroke, might not be a 0.5.
Right.
You know, and there's guys that just cannot get the backhand push down. It just doesn't make sense for them. It's like
some people, I think it just hurts.
Yeah, like it's a huge fucking difference.
Yep.
Yeah, it took me like a year of pushing, and then finally getting in the right chair to get my backhand push down. But it was a world of difference. I mean, straight up, like world of difference of going from like straight like a 15-minute mile to, you know, a 10.
Right. Yeah, it was a big difference.
It's huge difference.
And it's like the overdrive gear.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Without it, you're pretty much like just stuck in first.
Yep.
Let's see. We're about an hour and a half into this, but there's one more thing I wanted to cover. With in regards to like the Boise team. How have you been able to like continue to like fundraise? Because running a rugby team is not cheap.
Right.
There's a lot of expenses, and we have to travel for all our tournaments.
Right.
So
we've got a couple of sponsors. We've got CNR Medical. We've got Access Vans and New Motion.
All right, on.
That are 3 pretty big sponsors. We get some.
And did you reach out to these places?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And we've gotten grants. We apply for grants. Craig Nelson Foundation. We've gotten grants from them.
Yeah. Free Will was in the picture early on.
Free
right?
Will was in the picture early on when Pat played with us. Yeah. And we've got. We used to do poker tournaments until it's illegal here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we did it for.
Even as a fundraiser?
We did four of them in a row, 4 years in a row, and I think it was not this summer. The summer before, I set up.
So for a fundraiser, it's still illegal.
Yeah, and it was cash donation to the Boise Bombers nonprofit, right?
Get your shit together.
And then we had prizes. We went and got like, you know, TVs and like PlayStations and, you know, poker chip sets and, you know, stuff like that for prizes.
It wasn't like you were getting money or gift cards or anything.
Yeah, there were gift cards, you know,
which is fine still, but like there's
stuff like that.
Right.
You know, we and
vouch. That's more like vouchers.
We'd end up getting about $1,100-$1,200 out of these, you know, from.
Yeah, that's
from the fundraiser. I mean, that's decent.
Yeah, you do 4 of those. That's one tournament right there.
Yeah. So I mean, but yeah, I got an email from it was in Meridian. It was at my friend's bar where we were going to do it, and they saw it on Facebook. And we put out the invite to everybody, and he sent me an email, and he said, "Sorry, but the
Idaho
State Lottery Commission says no."
I wonder if Oregon's the same way, because I haven't heard of
It's
one
legal.
of those in a while.
You guys have.
I'm out of the loop with the bar scene,
Don't
but
you guys have casinos and?
yeah, we have casinos.
Yeah.
You guys have casinos. We have Indian casinos.
You know,
You guys don't have any Indian casinos?
we have some Indian casinos.
Yeah, that's all we have.
Do we?
But there's poker rooms. I don't know how they work. I never once I left Las Vegas, my poker career was
All right.
over.
Gone.
I mean, I'll still play, and if I'm in Vegas, I'll go play. But I don't. I mean, dude, it was to the point where I was going like 3-4 times a week, sometimes twice a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks because like when you're winning, you're just like, fuck, I'm winning.
Right.
Tournament's nice because you only have to win like a third of the tournaments, or
Right.
cash, a third of the time, and you're good to go. Just gotta be a patient player and sit on your ass and make sure you do your pressure release. What's the all right, one last thing and then we'll sign off.
Sure.
What was the longest poker tournament you've ever played in?
Longest poker tournament. So we used to do a weekly tournament. There was about 4 poker houses in Boise that we kind of mixed this tournament. It was on Tuesday nights. We'd do it for a year, and every entry, you'd have to. Well, it was $20 plus $2, and we'd put $2 to the stash at the end of the year.
Yeah.
It was a weekly tournament. There was a point series and all that stuff, right? You get a certain amount of points for win, second place, all the way down to last, whatever. You still get a point. At the end of the year, we did this for 52 weeks, and we had a guy that kept all the stats, sent you a spreadsheet every week about the whole thing. It was really cool because you always wanted to be in the top, because you got a bigger starting stack. So then the final game was a $50 game buy-in, and you got a certain amount of chips plus bonus chips for being higher ranked.
Yeah,
right?
what you earned.
Yeah. So we had 3 tables. There's like 20. What was it? 27, 28 players, and I ended up winning it. And it started. I don't know what it started, like noon. We started at noon, and I think we were over by like 1:00. So it was an all-day thing. We had it.
1:00, noon to 1.
No, like 1 in the morning.
Oh, okay.
It was like 13 hours.
Damn, how aggressive was the clock?
Half-hour rounds.
Huh.
Yeah, we had lunch and dinner. We had it all, like a bunch of the money allocated to that. So we had a bunch of good food.
Yeah. So what's that?
Barbecued. It was fun.
6-7 hours? Noon, 7 hours?
It was
No,
like-
am I
it was
doing
like
my math
13
right?
hours.
13 hours.
With breaks, with all the breaks
Yeah,
and stuff,
true.
it was probably more like
Damn.
10 or 11 hours of poker.
I'm trying to remember my longest. I remember the tournament. I don't remember when it started, but it was like one of the biggest tournaments of the year, like early of the new year. And it was down at the M in Las Vegas, kind of like off the strip.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I don't know, 15 miles south or something, maybe 20 miles south. But yeah, they had this big Hollywood series poker tournament that
nice.
rolled through, and it was like a $200 buy-in. Forget how many people starting. I think it was probably in the 80s or 90s, because we had a good like 9 or 10 tables.
Right.
But it was on my dad's birthday, and we were just there for breakfast. And then I think he ended up playing in the tournament, getting knocked out early, and my mom was in town, and she just was playing slots, and we were going to go to dinner. We had reservations to our favorite Mexican restaurant, and the tournament started right after breakfast, probably let's just say like 11, and we had dinner reservations for like 8 or 7, and I'm thinking the tournament's going to be over, and I just kept going, and pretty soon it was like, I told him, I was like, hey, just take a cab. I'm going to have to get back with you because I'm, right near the bubble, and it's already 7 o'clock, and ended up going, wasn't too late. It definitely ended before 9, but I ended up finishing second.
Oh, nice.
And winning, like, that was a big one. It was like $6,000.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, that was
Nice.
that was a big one. That was fun. And that was on my dad's birthday, so I was like, All right, let me pay for dinner.
Right. Nice.
Pay for dinner, pay for the cab.
Yeah, I've only played a few tournaments in the casinos.
Yeah.
All my poker experience was either online or the home game.
Mm-hmm.
We had some serious home game tournaments for quite a few years here.
Yeah.
I've kind of retired from doing that.
We were all about that back in high school.
Yeah.
I remember even it might have been before the poker bubble. Before, before Chris
2003?
Before Moneymaker. No, yeah, definitely. I think I had just got my license and we didn't even have poker chips. We used to have to go to like the Albertsons and exchange for nickels.
Right.
And we would go, we would just go play and just use nickels as chips.
Right on.
And we would just play these nickel games when we were like 16.
Right.
Yeah, and then the poker boom happened, and
then you could just go down to
everybody
the
had
Jackson's on the corner and buy a set of poker chips.
Yeah,
that's what
it was like
crazy.
$50 in an aluminum case, and
they had stacks of around Christmas time. It was
that was
like,
amazing. Yeah, because you used to have to. I mean, you probably could be able to find it, but like you'd have to like go online and shit.
Yeah,
but good set of poker chips. Like I think every man should own a good set of poker chips.
Yeah. I've got a decent set. I like the weight. The weighted chip.
We were using ones. I think they're made by Bicycle, but they don't come in the aluminum case. They come in a little clear plastic box. But they have like, I mean, it's about the size of a casino coin, and it's got a good weight on it too. Oh, right. Not quite like a casino coin, because a casino coin's got, that thing's got.
Yeah, they got some weight to them.
They got metal and RFID chips in them.
We gotta wrap this up.
Dude. We're
starting to stand up.
We're gonna end on this one. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. Thanks for having me, dude.
Cool.